Welcome back, everybody, to Thank You for Being a Friend, and thank you all for being a friend. Hope everybody is doing well out there, staying safe, staying healthy, and ready to enjoy some interviews with a couple of my friends. Please welcome my first guest at this time. I am a big fan of SONNY Kiss, and I'm happy that SONNY Kiss is joining me for this interview. SONNY, how are you?
Great, Justin. Thank you for having me. Your background actually looks amazing. I wish my background looked like that.
Thank you very much. If you're in Arizona, you can have this background. Where are you right now?
My college is actually in Arizona. That's funny. I go to school online, but my college is based in, is it Tempe? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, Tempe.
Okay. So yeah, my college is based in Tempe, Arizona, but I am currently in Jersey City, New Jersey, my hometown.
Very cool. Your home. That's where I introduced you from. But I didn't know that you were taking school online. What are you taking?
I am. I'm studying kinesiology, exercise science, sports medicine, stuff like that.
Very cool. Now, you're somebody that I look forward to seeing. I say this to everybody, but I mean it. Like, I look forward to talking to everybody at work. And you are somebody that I always talk to, and we always say what's up and hang out.
Totally.
But we've never sat down, and I've never heard your story before. So
let's talk.
We can do that while the world watches. SONNY, how did you get bit by the wrestling bug? When did you first discover it on TV, I'm guessing?
Okay, this story is always so funny because people are always like, that's so weird. It's usually the opposite. Well, for me, I started getting into wrestling by playing the video games. The first game I played was WCW NWO Revenge on 64. And I had no idea. I had no concept of who was who. It's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. I was maybe like 5 years old. So yeah, I gravitated towards like different people like Alex Wright, Disco Inferno, because they were like very feminine and, you know, flamboyant. And obviously I love Rey Mysterio and all the cool moves he would do, and Dean Malenko, people like that. So yeah, that's how I got bit by the bug, and I started watching on TV, and the first people that I've seen are people like Jacqueline and Ivory and the Hardy Boys and Generation X and stuff like that. So yeah.
And then you got hooked on wrestling?
I did. I got really, really hooked.
Was it like a casual thing when you started watching, or were you like, oh, this is awesome?
Oh, I didn't really become like a casual fan maybe until like 01, 02, where I was like watching like a lot. Well, like, I didn't really become like a super duper fan until then, I should say.
Okay. And then you're into it, and then when did you decide, I want to give this a shot?
Like over the years, there would be crazy, awesome, like legendary matches that would happen, like historic matches, and I would look at that and I'd be like, wow. But most of my life, I was a dancer. I was growing up just trying to be a choreographer. That was like my dream. Like, I wanted to be in a boy band. I wanted to be a choreographer. I wanted to be like a singer, you know, performer. And then I was doing auditions for the NFL, dance, cheerleading camps and stuff like that. And then I was backup dancing for independent artists. And then that led me to, one day I was like doing like tumbling in a park. And then these friends of mine was like, why don't you come, you know, check out this wrestling school? And then, yeah, it all went from there.
Wow. So you went from dancing to tumbling to wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, now I get to combine them all, which is amazing. But yeah, that's essentially how it went.
That's really interesting. So
yeah.
What was the next step? You went to check out the school and you started training there?
Yes, I was kind of training sporadically at that time. I just felt like I wasn't necessarily ready. I was 17. I was still very young. I was still a senior in high school as well. So it was like kind of like, you know, like, what are you going to do here? Are you going to go full out balls to the wall? Or are you going to actually, you know, go full out and do this? So it took a little while. I started out as a manager in ballet. And then that led me to actually my own in-ring performance after maybe 2 years of like back and forth and, you know, deciding not to do it and doing it. And then I officially went for it in 2013. So, yeah. But I loved managing. That was like so much fun, actually. Like I feel like the art of the manager ballet role, I feel like it's obsolete now, which it's kind of sucks because it's a really, really fun, you know, awesome thing. And it can be done, and when it's done right, it can come across very well.
That was part of the appeal so many years ago when you had the Mr. Fuji's and the Bobby Heenans and the Paul Bears and the Jimmy Harts and the
Mhm.
Slicks.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now I love that about AEW. Now you have your Tully Blanchards, you have your Jake Roberts. Like slowly you're seeing it's a different form of manager, but you're seeing more managers. Look at Arn Anderson and his role. And it's like all these really knowledgeable wrestlers coming out as managers and supporting this newer crop of talent and supporting them and teaching them. And it's kind of a new era of managers. And who knows if it might end up morphing into what we're talking about, because that was fun. So you were a manager, and then you started wrestling. And then did you work around the New Jersey area? Were you all over New York, Philadelphia? Where did you mainly wrestle?
I did the East Coast independent scene, New York, New Jersey, Florida, eventually Atlanta, and then I eventually got to Toronto, and I started going more out west Canada, things like that. It's just like it was a slow process, but at the same time, once I grasped it, once I started to like really grasp what I was doing, and then really like hone the character of Sonny Kiss, it started to happen, a lot faster, and things started to, keep moving and stuff like that. And then I got to Chicago, and then eventually Lucha Underground reached out to me, and the rest is history. I started to move on from there. Like it was a slow process, but yeah. When I started to grasp, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when I started to really get my name out there, it started to happen so fast, which was awesome.
So you mentioned Lucha Underground, so you worked there, and then how did AEW come about?
Brandy slid into my DMs. I always tell this story, and it's always so funny. And I always end it with a "Sorry, Cody." But no, Brandy slid into my DMs, and she was like super duper sweet, and she was just like, "Hi, Sonny, it's nice to meet you." Well, it was funny because we actually met 2 times before that, and I was like, "Dang, she didn't remember me." But wrestling is so weird because it's like you think you know people, but you also don't know them.
Sometimes so many people at so many shows. Like if you go to a show, you meet 100 people, and it's like you don't put thought into it. And then a year later, when somebody DMs you, it's like, "Oh, we met." And you might remember, but they didn't. Yeah. It's a quick thing. It's hard. I feel really bad when people are like, "We met before." But I don't remember.
Yeah, and then sometimes like through the internet, you feel like you've met them, but you haven't met them at all. So it's weird how this wrestling, this wrestling culture is. It's like it's a very small world.
Yeah. I feel the same way too. Like there's people that I follow on Twitter who I've never actually met before. But just because they're so entertaining on Twitter, I follow them and I feel like I know them and I kind of follow their careers. So if you see them, it's like, "Hey man, how you doing? I see your updates every day," but you've never actually met. So Brandy slides into your DMs and tells you that AEW is going to be a thing, or was AEW already a thing?
No, so initially I thought it was gonna be like an all-in 2. So I had no concept of AEW at the time at all. She just was like, "Are you going to contract with anybody else? Are you allowed to do other events?" And I was like, "Yes, I have this contract with Lucha Underground that I'm still in the works with." I was trying to get out of it at the time. So the contract stated that I could do other stuff, except for another company. So for a while, it was like, okay, like all in 2's happening. I get to do this, and hopefully the contract will be over by then. So that whole thing happened. She's like, "Keep May 25th open." I think it was Memorial Day weekend or something like that. Yeah, Memorial Day weekend. She's like, "Keep that open." And she messages me a couple months later and tells me that, "Okay, we're gonna fly you to Vegas for the ticket party." And then I'm like, "Holy snap! This is really happening." So
you got a big introduction at that.
Oh my God! And I was so nervous. I was the first one out. And I was so nervous that I threw a shirt in the water.
But it was cold. So it was probably hard to think straight because it was so cold, and also you're nervous. It's a big deal.
So nervous. Okay, because it's like this is like the coolest thing in the world to me, because here I am about to fulfill my dreams that I've always wanted, that I sometimes probably didn't even think was ever going to really happen on like a grand scale. And then to have like these people believe in me, you know, from Tony Khan to Cody, Brandy, you know, Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, like everybody, to have them believe in me, it's like, oh my God, they want to put me in their company. This is so cool. But a constant thing that happens, and I have a conversation with Nyla about it all the time, a constant conversation that we have with ourselves, it's like, we just want to make sure that they don't regret hiring us. We want to make sure that we kill it every time, and we just want to do well. And that desire to do so well, that passion, that burning fire, for me, it makes me so nervous to the point where I can't even like function. So it sometimes it really does, like, it gets me, but it's all just
I think at some point you just need to say to yourself, I've gotten to this point. There's a reason why Lucha Underground had reached out to me. There's a reason why Brandy had reached out to me. And there's a reason why I'm in AEW. You know, you have to say, I was good enough to get here. And that's where you have to stop doubting yourself and wondering if you could live up to your set expectations. This is where you get to the point and you go, I'm here. Now I'm going to show the world what I could do and make the best of it. And that's where you need to just turn your confidence up and say, I don't need to prove myself now. I'm here, and now let's go to work and let's have fun and let's keep reinventing myself and getting in the ring and showing off. And like, your style is really different. You do a lot of funky stuff that's really entertaining and different from what other people do. And it's you know, it's part of what sets you apart. And you just have to run with it and keep building it and keep getting more, you know, more Sonny Kiss and getting away from anybody else, you know.
Right. And it's not so much the confidence thing, because I definitely don't really have a confidence issue as far as who I am and like what I'm doing. The confidence issue comes from just the fact that this world is very unforgiving, and they're not being open to me when I'm literally just being myself. They have this interpretation of me. They have these like stereotypes about me, and they think that because of, you know, they reinforce stereotypes in their own heads, and they say, oh, this is what I think that, you know, an LGBTQ person is like, so he's playing up stereotypes, and really I'm just being myself. Like, I'm not doing more or less of anything. I'm literally just being an extension of who I am outside of my real life. So
yeah, people will have their expectations, but you just go out there and be you, and I think the world will just say, hey, this is awesome. This is who Sonny Kiss is, and this is why Sonny Kiss is my favorite. And I'm sure you have a lot of fans who feel that way, and the more you're out there, the more people are going to see and pick up on that, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's definitely amazing to get the support that I do get. But I will say it's the fact that I've gotten this far and trying to keep the job is really what makes the nerves go. Like, it's not so much like the confidence of who I am. It's definitely has to do with like wanting to keep this job and wanting to do well and just, you know, kill it every time. So yeah,
and that's the key. You kill it every time, and that's the key to keeping the job and keep moving forward and keep getting bigger.
Yeah, and that's also why I get emotional too, because a lot of times when I do get to these crowds and they're so very receptive, and it's like sometimes they're like more receptive than I actually anticipated. So they're like, "Oh my God, Sonny," and I'm like, "Oh my God, they like me." So,
right.
A lot of times I get emotional. You know, I get really happy, and that's really, you know, really what it is. I just really just want to do well and prove that I belong here.
Our AEW fan base is awesome. We seriously have the greatest fans. I love our fans. And we have the greatest crew and like everything about this company. And I say it every week. Yes. Our company's awesome. Are you having the time of your life? Are you enjoying AEW?
Every second of it. I wish I could be at work all week long. I wish we were. I kind of wouldn't mind traveling rental cars to every single city. Like, I just want to enjoy the entire experience. Okay, I'll take that back. Not really, but
it's weird on Thursdays when you're like flying home. It's like, and I'm going home and I have to wait, 5 days, whatever.
Right, just to be at work.
I can fly out on Tuesday next week.
Yeah, it's really just a desire to be there overall. Like, I just love the atmosphere. I love the locker room. Every single person is so, they're very much like pushing you to do well, and they're like giving you compliments, and like they give you a lot of good energy, and there's like no beef, there's no tension, like everybody's cool, and it's like literally like a brother and sisterhood. It's all family. Like, every single person is like, I just love our roster. I really do. Like, I love coming to work. I just love working for this amazing company. to be honest.
That's really cool. I love hearing that. I'm going to go to a question here from one of your fans, K Collectible 73. Who is your dream opponent and why?
My dream opponent, just kind of like anybody, or we're sticking with AEW?
Dream opponent.
My dream opponent, growing up, was always Rob Van Dam because I could see similarities. But in AEW, I would love to wrestle just about anybody. Chris Jericho, anybody. Sammy, Darby, they're all, there's a lot of really good talented people on the roster.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one. Jeez.
Roster.
At Wrestle News, if you could wrestle in a country you never have before, where would it be and why?
Probably England. I would love to wrestle England.
It's fun out there. Those crowds are great.
I bet. I see it all the time. I love the culture, and I just love it. Like, when I was a kid, I grew up listening to a lot of garage, UK garage or whatever, garage. And just the grime and like the music scene and just the essence of England and stuff like that. I love it.
And you've never been there?
I've never been, no.
Okay. So it'd be great to go take it in and be able to wrestle there. Sonny, It's awesome seeing you. I haven't seen you for a while. I miss you. Thank you for coming on and saying hello. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I just, like you said, I just would love to be back at work, and I miss you guys too. And I hope all is well.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we will see you soon. You take care.
Yes, you too.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Thank you, Sonny. I love talking to Sonny Kiss. I also love talking to this gentleman who's about to join us. He is not somebody from behind the scenes. He's somebody that you see out in the middle of the ring every week on Dynamite. And you might not realize not only he's like a phenomenal referee, but he's also a really entertaining character. A lot of times he'll get in and out of the ring, and he'll just come up and say something in my ear, do something to make me laugh. He's really entertaining. He's a good guy, and I look forward to seeing him after all these weeks. Please welcome AEW referee Bryce Remsburg.
Hi, Justin. Thank you for being my friend. Bryce. Thanks for having me. Congratulations on getting the part in the Samurai movie, too. What happened to the beard?
I shaved that the other day. I had to shave that, but
you look great.
I have not gotten a haircut in 7 weeks, or no, we're going on week 8 now. So
I'm not mad at it. Let it go, baby. I also want some of our conversations we've had in the ring. You've put me at ease. I mean, you have years and years and weeks of national television experience. I had 0 back in October, and seeing a friendly face like you and being able to have a couple of goofs during the commercials and stuff, a pleasure.
That was one of my favorite parts as AEW was first starting. There was a lot of people who had never been on national TV, and everybody was nervous. And it was, for me, going back out there was like such a relief, and I was so at ease. I'm like, I'm in my element after all these years. I'm back in this, and I'm so relaxed. And I'm looking around, and everybody else is so nervous. And it was cool for everybody. Like, you're getting this opportunity, and someone like you who's been around for a really long time. That's what made me really happy that night. Like, Bryce Remsburg is on national TV right now doing what he loves and doing it in the big leagues. This is really cool. So
I've said it several times. I feel like I had done a pretty good job getting my bachelor's degree as a professional wrestling referee, but I've been getting my master's degree since last year. And you have been one of the professors. The way your poise and everything, and what a lot of people don't see. Some of my favorite parts of live Dynamite tapings. Sometimes we'll do a match before Dynamite goes live, kind of get everything rolling. Maybe it's used for AEW Dark. Maybe just getting everybody psyched up and ready for 8 p.m. Eastern time. And sometimes that match, because anything can happen in professional wrestling, it'll end at 7:51 or 7:52. And Justin Roberts, the host of this very program, has to go out there and fill 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes with a live microphone and no wrestling action. And it takes about, 90 seconds to introduce JR and Tony Schiavone. And there's I don't know how many improv classes you've taken, my friend, but it's very impressive. A lot of local colors thrown around. Sometimes he reads signs. 1 week, this was towards the end, there was a long break before the main event, and they were chanting, "Please come back," because he had, mentioned the town name, the Cheap Pop, and I'm sure it was a nice town, lovely people, I'm sure. And I got out of the ring and got back in the ring, and Justin seemed to appreciate that. I came back.
That's
like
when that's when you really got over with me. When the crowd, and believe me, in this case, like at AEW, it's never for a cheap pop. Like when I tell the crowd, dude, we're having fun tonight. Thank you. We can't wait to come back. I truly mean that, because the crowd has so much fun all throughout the night. Like it's a universal thing. We're having fun. They're having fun. We're all having fun. And so we want to go back to those towns.
Sure.
Like, you guys are an awesome crowd. Let's do this every week in this town because you guys are great. And so they're like, please come back. And so Bryce takes it upon himself to leave and come back in. And I just thought that was really funny. And that's when we started talking about your improv background. And that's when I started noticing more and more. You really are a funny guy. You're really quick. You kind of remind me of the guy from Airplane. Like as soon as somebody says something, you have a quick comeback right away. Some kind of sarcastic remark instantly without any thought. And when I started doing this show, I'm like, man, I should have Bryce Remsburg on as my sidekick here, because like you are so quick and just really entertaining. So for everybody who sees you on TV, you're a referee. What's your background? How did you get started in reffing?
I was an independent. Well, first I was a professional wrestling TV fan. Macho Man was my guy. Ultimate Warrior to a lesser extent. You come from the same world. I know. I've read your book, Justin. You're a fanatical childhood wrestling fan. I was right there with you. Every magazine, every figure. And then I was about 15 or 16. I discovered independent wrestling, and I was, it was kind of like, loving U2 or this big giant stadium band, and then discovering that like music was also happening at smaller levels, and you could go to a club and see a band in front of 50 or 100 people, and independent wrestling was that. And the biggest thing that stuck out for me was there were no guardrails. Like, this ring is just right here, and you can, for $5, you can get in the ring with King Kong Bundy in intermission and get a Polaroid. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's right here in front of me. Like, there's no the barricades are not only a physical thing, but it's kind of like a mental, emotional thing. Like, all these guys are large and left, they're on the other side of the guardrail. But in independent wrestling, there was no guardrail. And I gravitated towards the cruiserweights of the Nitro era, one of them being former AEW World Champion Chris Jericho. And so a big enjoyment for these indie shows I was going to were guys like Reckless Youth and Mike Quackenbush, who I'm not sure if they ever came out your way, and your indie fan.
Reckless Youth was like the guy back in like 98. Like, that's the guy you kept hearing about. He was like the king of independence.
He was the king of independence. So he went to Memphis for developmental for a while in 2000. When he came back from developmental, his project was to open a wrestling school with Mike Quackenbush called the Chikara Wrestle Factory in Allentown, PA. And like, these guys, it was kind of serendipitous. Like, my two favorite wrestlers were opening a wrestling school an hour from where I was going to college. I was a freshman in college, so I had no proper direction. So I signed up. I was ring announcing. Sorry, Justin, I didn't know, not even close.
Oh, I never knew that.
While I was waiting to train to referee. So 12 days after my first training, I ring announced the first Chikara event, 2002, and I got there, and Mike Quackenbush was like, "Did you bring your suit?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And this is before we had our emails on our phones, obviously. So I didn't check my email in the last 3 hours. I was driving to the show, so I had to have my dad grab a suit out of my closet. It didn't fit. I looked awful. I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing my best/worst Howard Finkel impression for a couple weeks, and then finally, thank God, I learned how to referee. I didn't have to ring announce anymore. And then that was September of 2002, and I've been refereeing coming up on 18 years this fall. So that's a long bachelor's program. That's a long bachelor's degree program.
That is. It's a long time, but with that comes all that experience that you got. I could see you as a ring announcer. You have that personality, and I think you'd be great holding the microphone and making everything happen. I also did the Howard Finkel voice when I started announcing, because that's what you see on TV. That's just
right.
What you do.
That's what I knew, right?
And you found it more fitting for yourself to be a referee. That's what you.
Yeah, it's what I signed up to train for. So I guess I could have ring announced, but I like being closer to the action, so to speak. I don't know how you feel about this, Justin. Like, you have a great seat, don't get me wrong. You're in row 0, but I'm in like row -1. Like, I'm in the ring, and I see people reacting in the front row, and I think about like, I should never take for granted that I am this much close to these guys. Like, they paid for these wonderful seats, and I have a better seat. Like, the only one that may have a better seat than you is me. And sure. I like being part of the action. I like being in there. It's a little more physical, and it's a little more not to disrespect or besmirch what you do. It's a little more close to the wrestling action physically. Like, what I grew up on, I don't have the chops to be a wrestler. I never like that. Never really crossed my mind. I'm a weak asthmatic little boy, but to be in the ring was the next best thing for me. I'm part of the action, so to speak. I can be the parsley on the side of a beautiful steak dinner. Like, you don't want to be the wilted, disgusting parsley. You want to complement the action well.
The referee is super important. Now, as somebody like you who was obsessed with wrestling and wanted to get into it, of course, me at 15, 16 years old says, I'll be a referee. That's easy, you know.
Right.
And then when you get to referee, because I trained to ref so I could work on tour with Mr. Perfect.
Nice.
So I ended up reffing, and that's where I learned all the little intricacies that go into it. And that's where I discovered, wow, even after ring announcing for quite a while, wow, the job of a referee is very hard. There's so many responsibilities that come with it, and so much happens on the fly, and you're very integral in making everything happen, gluing the pieces together, and doing it under a lot of pressure and not time to process anything or think about it. You just have to make decisions. You have to relay stuff. So without, giving away all your secrets, I'll just say that being a referee is super challenging, and it's super, super, super important.
Yeah, no, it was back in the indie days in the bachelor's program. It was like, the match could end at this time, and then this could happen and whatever. And we weren't worrying about commercials or multiple cameras or replays or, at 9:59:59, Dynamite goes off the air, no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on or where everyone's at. And the referee in many of these circumstances is a director, is a conductor. One nice thing about this is on the indies, a lot of, there aren't always doctors. So the referee is the first line of defense if an injury, or God forbid, something awful happens. So luckily we have Doc Samson at AEW, which is nice, but that's another hat that referees wear, which is one of the reasons right when AEW is starting up, Knox, Paul, Aubrey, and I all went and got CPR training, just because that's like a scary, terrible thing. And when you think about being there, and hopefully we never have to use it, but knowing how to react goes a long way, I think. So there are
That's awesome.
a lot more hats. Yeah, no, we all kind of got together when we first started working together, and like the four of us had never been on a show together. The four of us had like never even been in the same room together before Double or Nothing, and it's really kind of the squad has evolved over the last, I guess, 11 months at this point, almost a year, and it's awesome. I think I am a fan of all of their work as a referee, as a peer. I enjoy watching them work, and I'm happy for all of our collective success, I guess.
It's amazing, you guys. Regularly the refs that we see mostly on Dynamite. We've got you. We've got Paul Turner. We've got Rick Knox. It's been so long.
Did we hire Mike Knox? Oh my God! I know we haven't seen each other in a while, but
that's how long it's been. Wow, 2 months
he
away.
Might be a little tall to be a ref. He might be too tall. We have to look into that.
Paul Turner, Rick Knox, Aubrey Edwards, and am I forgetting somebody?
Mike Posey does dark a lot. He's on Dynamite once in a great while, but he's in the squad. Yep, for sure.
So Paul Turner comes from Ring of Honor. Rick Knox comes from like the SoCal world. You've got Aubrey Edwards, who comes from the Seattle area. So you guys all come from different worlds, and y'all have a lot of experience, and you guys are great referees, and I love watching you guys work each week. Are you having fun at AEW? I'm
having a blast. It's if you could have asked me a year ago, like, describe your dream job, like, what's the dream scenario for you? Like, this is it. I'm home 4 to 5 days a week with my wife and my son. I'm traveling. I love to travel. I've gone to new places. I've refereed in new states. It's on national TV. It's a product I believe in and care about. Like this, I couldn't have written out this fantasy any better than it turned out. I believe, like I said, I believe in this. I have great respect and affinity for these guys. I've known the Young Bucks for 12 years. I think that might be why we're talking right now. But I'm just, I would watch it as a fan. Like, it's easy to get disenchanted as a wrestling fan of, I don't know, almost 30 years of watching wrestling. And like, the current wrestling landscape, even especially after 17 years on the indies, like, there wasn't a lot that I hadn't seen before. There wasn't a lot that truly, really excited me. Like, this fell from the sky. Like, this is it. Like, I would watch my friends from high school and college who are not wrestling fans watch Dynamite every single week. They order merch. They send me pictures. Like, it's great. I'm so excited to be on this team, and I never, especially with these last 7 or 8 weeks, whatever it's been, I will never take for granted how lucky I am to be on this team and on this squad. You know what I'm saying, Justin? Like,
I totally know what you're saying, because every week I sit there and think, this isn't, okay, it's my job, but I'm sitting here and I'm entertained for 2 hours. Like, I'm watching a show that I'm into as a fan. I became a fan of being the elite, and that got me into those guys, the Bucks and Cody. That's how I became a fan again. And seeing them and seeing the storylines play out each week and seeing the character development from week to week, and the storylines are consistent. There's consistency. And I think Tony Khan being behind this, and Tony Khan being like us, but even more so a super fan who has this memory where he's retained everything that he's seen, and he wants to put on a show that he as a fan would enjoy. And so fans like you and I sit there and we enjoy it from week to week, and we want to see what happens next. I don't ask anything about what's going to happen in the future. I'm assuming you're the same way, and we just watch it play out from week to week. It's just entertaining. You get to watch it as a fan, but oh, by the way, you also work for this company.
Right. I mean, like, we get paid for this too, which is crazy.
All a bunch of nerds who love wrestling.
Right. Tony is about our age. He grew up with the same kind of wrestling in the same era that we did. He has crazy encyclopedic knowledge. Like, he didn't watch a ton of indies, but once in a while I'll just see him backstage at TV and I'll be like, Samoa Joe and Necro Butcher, you were the referee for that. I just watched it. Like, he watches wrestling in his free time, and the man doesn't have a lot of free time.
He watches everything and retains everything.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, no one is better suited for the job that he has, in my opinion. Like, he's a true wrestling fan that is able to make this dream a reality, and, putting Matt, Nick, Kenny, and Cody in the positions that they're in, like, that they are helping to steer the ship, obviously, but, like, it's a great team, and I'm so excited and lucky to be. Like I say it every day, like this changed my life. Like, I would have probably been perfectly happy to work at a pharmaceutical advertising agency and refereeing indies on the weekends. That was okay. I was not an unhappy man, but, like, this changed my life. Like, I even if God forbid AEW ended tomorrow, like, I'll never ever forget or discount, like, what this did for me and my family and everything. It's crazy.
That is awesome. And it shows every week when you're there. You're excited to be there. You're great at your job. I'm sure the wrestlers all appreciate having you, because they know they can count on you. And we're going to go to some questions from fans who have written in for you.
Okay.
At Jin Kenshin. Throughout wrestling history, and especially now, refs have taken a lesser role during matches, just doing their job. AEW refs, especially yourself, bring a lot of personality and charisma to the job, which is refreshing and fun. Why is that important in your opinion? And I agree with them.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for the question. It's very nice of you to say. I think that, WWE might not give, or wrestling as a whole, might not give the focus and energy to the referees. Like, they're kind of nameless beings there. AEW, as a whole, it tries to give everyone a little more personality and a little flex. And, one of our commentators just happens to wear a mask. He's a great commentator, but he wears a mask. Like, that would, break someone's brain in 1984. He's really good at what he does. He's earned his job. So, like, I think AEW...
Is awesome.
He's amazing. I've known him for a long time. He's great. To think about what AEW has done to kind of break down those walls of what is understood. Well, it's this way, so it just has to be that way. The referees having personalities, having names, them putting our Twitter profiles on television when we have title matches, like, that's kind of a microcosm of that. Like,
we even get introduced during title matches.
Right. It's great. It's like our name is, like, I didn't know that was going to happen. One day I came back after, I don't know where it was, and I looked at my phone. I had like 500 new Twitter files. Like, what happened? Oh no, did something go wrong? And I realized that they put our Twitter handle on the lower third. It's like, that's crazy. Like, we're people with personalities. They put yours on, right, Justin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, this is a social media driven company. This is a personality driven company. Being the elite, everyone fell in love with these guys for their personality and social media. Like, why not take that one step further to the referees and the ring announcers?
And who does it hurt if you build up everybody in your roster?
Right, of course.
Nobody hurts. It only helps the company.
Sure, like
everybody.
think of the like, you know, when Tommy Young was reffing a Ric Flair match, you knew something was up. Or when Earl Hebner was reffing a Steve Austin match, something was up. When Aubrey Edwards is reffing a Chris Jericho match, they're probably going to have an interaction. Like, these aren't accidents. Like, these are, you know, if you're painting a picture, you want to use all the colors and things at your disposal. You want to make this canvas of this beautiful match, this beautiful production, this beautiful television show. Like, why not use all the things at your disposal to make it as great and interactive and cool as possible?
Absolutely. I love that. From TJ Light, what's one of your fondest memories reffing SoCal? Bryce Crispy. Hashtag Bryce Crispies, he said.
Hashtag Bryce Crispy. I did a couple of Battle Los Angeles. I actually did post-production commentary with Excalibur. I think it was 2006 and 2007. And I remember, this is before the days of Uber and Lyft. I really wanted to go to, like, Disneyland or whatever. It was something I wanted to do a California thing while we were in California. And there were too many people for the car, and I had to, like, basically ride in the trunk of Joey Ryan's car so we could all fit. But I was like, I'm in California. Gosh darn it, I'm going to do it. And, like, Justin, you feel me on this. Like, we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, the U.S. Air and Space Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Like, we're in these towns. Let's go do these things. Like, in a way, the inside of every hotel room kind of looks the same after a while. If we're going to be away from home for 2 days and we're not at TV, we're not doing anything dangerous, getting ourselves in trouble, we're not going to get hurt, we're not doing drugs or whatever, like, let's go experience the town and do the things, right? We had barbecue in Kansas City, Justin. We had a lovely dinner.
It was an awesome dinner. You have to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So many years I was going to these towns, and I had been going to these towns for 12 years. Been there a million times, seen the airport, seen the gym, seen the hotel, seen the arena, but that was it. And when I was done and I thought I was out of the wrestling world, I thought, wow, I really dropped the ball by not going and checking this out or checking that place out. And then when I toured with Tool, we would have an off day. And on that off day, there's a group of us that would go out and go on these adventures. It's like, man, I've been to Denver so many times for 12 years, but I've never walked around. I've never explored. I've never gone to this place now. Right. And so I started doing that with Tool, and now I'm trying to do that again with AEW. We have a great group, and there's always somebody, whether it's you or Jess, who's trying to set something up. Like, hey, we're in Huntsville. We're going to go check out the space place.
Hey.
The space school?
The U.S. Space and Rocket Center, basically Space Camp. Yeah, it was.
So there's stuff really cool. in every town, and it's like, why not take it in if you could fit it in?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Makes it a little bit more memorable.
Who knows when we're going to be in these places again? Who knows, these places are still going to be open? And I really exceptionally, even, spent a lot of time at home to think about these things the last 7 weeks or whatever. It makes me appreciate so much that I was able to do those things. I was able to go out and find the barbecue place in Austin and have barbecue with you in Kansas City and see my friends in these towns. Who know, we're very lucky, and I don't know if myself, I only speak for, properly realized how lucky we were to have this lifestyle until it was very unexpectedly, taken away.
Right.
You're a half full guy too, Justin. So I'm trying to think.
Yeah, the cool thing is, like, there are certain things you take for granted, and every week when I fly out, I look forward to flying to work. And when I come home, I always I'll post, like, in my Instagram story, the Welcome to Phoenix sign at the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. And it's something that I never took for granted, leaving and coming back. But I look forward to that. I look forward to leaving, to going to work. I look forward to coming home, recharging my batteries, but then going out again. And it never got old. And then when you stop doing it, it's like, there was nothing wrong with the way things were. Let's not break anything. So I look forward to everything going back to normal really soon, and everything being fun again, and seeing everybody regularly, and it's going to be great. It's something to look forward to.
It will, and when that eventually happens, be it next week, next month, next year, like, it's going to be like, we will never not appreciate each other again. Like, little things that might have been like a little thing that was an annoyance, or a little, like the car rental wasn't ready when you got there. Whatever this little thing is, like, it's just gonna be so great to have everyone together, people being able to come out to the arenas and all that good stuff. Like,
I get excited when we shoot the show, like seeing Jeff, who produces this. I get excited to see Jeff because it makes me feel like I'm at work.
Yeah.
Seeing you and seeing SONNY, it's It's cool.
I've been sitting at the hotel, and it's like an hour and a half before call time. It's like, why don't I just go to work? I love being to work. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Justin Rhodes is gonna tell me a story about WCW in 1991. Like, oh shucks, that'll be awful. Like, Dean Malenko's gonna, make a ridiculous joke about, how this guy was really heavy to pick up on WCW. Yeah, great. I will go to work. That is work now. Like, I will happily go to work an hour early. Like, how many people can say they can't wait to go to work, like, even if it matters, travel headaches, whatever it is, like, it's a great place to be. And I know exactly what you're saying. Even seeing Sandra in the hallway, working on people's costumes, or seeing the makeup crew, like, it's all just part of this extended, fairly functional family, being that there's including the production people, there's probably 150, 160 people here. Like, and I have always, as I'm preaching to the choir here, Justin, appreciated the roles and the backstories of the non-wrestler talent. Like, Howard Finkel had a story. Mike Chioda had a story. Whoever it was watching growing up, like Mark Eaton, the timekeeper, had a story. And just thinking about what, of course it means for these guys that have toiled for years and years, and even like the newer breed of like the Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara's, MJFs, who were like 5 when I started reffing, but whatever, who's counting? But the guys like me and Knox and Turner, who have been grinding for years and years and years, and even people that have been at these places and maybe thought there wasn't another way to get back to these places. You and Taz and whoever else are now back in these places. Like, everybody's bringing something to this table to make this beautiful multi-colored Dynamite meal, right? Like, that's it. It's great. It's awesome.
You said it perfectly. That's what this is. Everybody coming from all their different worlds. Everybody plays a different part and comes together and do what they do best. And it makes Dynamite. It really does. It makes AEW as a whole. And it kind of starts with Tony, who we've talked about a bunch. And can't say it enough. Like, Tony is just a super, super great guy. And as our leader, that sets a great example. He's just a really great guy. And everybody comes in and wants to do their best work and contribute to this vision that he has and execute it and make it happen. So we all have fun.
Right. It hasn't felt right to drink a White Claw without him, so I haven't. These past few weeks, I've been White Claw free. So another thing to look forward to getting back on the White Claw.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be doing that soon, and hopefully we'll be seeing you back in the ring soon. And I'm glad that you stopped by and talked to us, and everybody got to hear a little bit of your story. And we look forward to seeing and hearing more as time goes on. So thank you for joining us.
I look forward to seeing this ponytail in real life, Justin. I want to touch it. Yeah,
I don't know how that would work. Should I wear it like this to announce?
Only one way to find out, baby. Just give it a shot. Go for it. See what happens. Change it every commercial break. You can do something different with it. We don't all have these options.
You could braid it. Or
yeah. Part it down the middle, and Lloyd Christmas down the front. All kinds of options.
I like to do that, just part in the middle and then put on like Macho Man, the headband.
Yeah. You're speaking my language. Greatest of all time. Greatest of all time.
Take care, Bryce. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me, Justin. Take care.
Hey. It was great talking to Sonny Kiss and Bryce Remsburg. Always fun talking to them. And now I want to bring out a friend of mine, a special guest here today. I'm very big, if you follow my career, I'm all about promoting people to follow their dreams, and I love seeing when people go ahead and do that. A friend of mine has had an amazing acting career, and he's always wanted to direct, and he has directed for the first time. You know him from the Hot Tub Time Machine movies, The Office, Sex Drive, Bad Moms, and my new favorite series on Instagram, Clark and Michael. He just directed his first movie starring himself, along with Liam Hemsworth, Vince Vaughn, Vivica Fox, John Malkovich. It's called Arkansas. It's out right now on digital and demand, including Apple TV. Please welcome Clark Duke.
Hey,
hello,
man.
Clark.
Thanks for having me. How's it going? It looks nice where you are.
It is nice and sunny and 100 degrees, and I'm probably getting burned. Looks nice.
No,
and,
you look tan, brother.
Thank you so much. Nice to see
Looking jacked, looking tan.
You look like you're sitting in the air conditioning. You look great. You look like you just directed a movie and it's coming out this week.
I look like a guy that hasn't slept much in a couple days. I was doing the morning radio tours today for to promote the movie. So that starts, for the East Coast. You start doing that at like 5:30 in the morning, just to roll through like 30 radio shows. So every 5 minutes you forget who you're talking to or where you're at.
So it's a huge prep, getting ready to do the film, then actually filming, and then just when you're done and you think everything's good to go, you can sit back, relax. Then it comes out and you have to promote it. So
Yeah.
what's this like for you? Now, people are probably wondering, like, what's he doing on this show? You are a huge AEW fan. You once told me that this is your favorite show on TV, so big thank you for that. Tell us about your AEW background and everything.
I've been a big fan of AEW since its inception. I mean, I was a huge WCW fan growing up, as you can probably tell from my DDP shirt here. So for me, AEW felt like it felt like the best parts of WCW in a lot of ways, and it felt I know a lot of people would throw this around at WCW as kind of a slur, but it feels kind of Southern to me, which I like in a good way. I mean, I know like the Bucks and Kenny and all those guys, nobody's Southern, but Cody's from Atlanta, so I'm sure there's a lot of that coming through. Yeah, man, I'm bummed because we were planning to do a thing with my movie coming out. I was going to come to some of the shows, and I think that I was definitely going to come to the Vegas show. So, I mean, I'm bummed to miss that just as a fan, because I'm so anxious to come to one of the live shows, because the crowd has been, kind of one of the best parts of the show. So it's weird. I mean, it's tough right now. I appreciate everybody doing their best trying to put a show on every week. It's just strange times to everybody. I mean, it's weird for you guys. It's weird for me releasing a movie right now. Like, we were supposed to premiere at South by Southwest originally, and that obviously got canceled. And then we were supposed to be in theaters right now, and that got, all the theaters got closed. So it's weird. Like, it's bittersweet, man, because it feels like we had to skip all the fun parts of promoting, of like putting a movie out. Like, the fun part was like, oh man, I get to go sit ringside at AEW in Vegas and pretend it's to promote my movie and not because I was going anyway. But
that's actually how it started. You said you wanted to come out for the show, and you've texted me numerous times during shows on Wednesday nights, like, oh, this is awesome. And I wanted to make something happen for that, because I know you're a huge AEW fan, and you have this, this big movie coming out that you directed. It's awesome to combine both worlds would have been really cool.
Yeah, we'll get them on the next one. It's been hopefully the next one won't take as long to make. This has been a long road. Like, probably the entire time we've known each other, I've been trying to make this movie. Like, I read the book and bought the rights to the book the movie's based on about 10 years ago. So it's been quite a process.
You have a hell of a cast too.
Yeah. We got Liam Hemsworth, Vince Vaughn, John Malkovich, Vivica Fox. It's crazy. Michael
and your brother as well.
And my brother, and me and my brother, the Duke boys. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited to see it. So we record this show on Mondays or Tuesdays. Today we're doing it on Monday, and it comes out on Friday. So by the time that this airs, I will have seen it, because I'm excited to watch this tomorrow on your birthday. But when everybody sees this on YouTube, it will be out. It will be available. Do you want to tell everybody where they could find it?
You can find it everywhere, anywhere you can buy a movie that's not a movie theater. It's on Apple, Amazon, VOD, on demand. It's on, your cable and satellite providers on the on-demand pay-per-view page. You can buy it. It's on DVD and Blu-ray, so Walmart, Redbox, Target, literally anywhere you can buy a movie, this thing's for sale. I just thought of one funny story that I got to tell on here, because you guys will be some of the only people on earth that will appreciate this story that has to do with the movie. So in the movie, we have these characters that are these huge, bulky twins. They're supposed to be twins. And so we were like, where are we going to find some big, giant twins? And two of the guys that actually came in and read for the movie were the Harris brothers. And it didn't.
Ron and Don Harris.
Ron and Don came in, and I was like, oh my God, like, I know you guys. It didn't work out because they just weren't the right age, like, because when you see the movie, it'll make sense. Like, there's parts of the movie that take place over like 30 years, so like they just weren't the right age for it. But I think they seemed shocked that I knew who they were, and it was one of the more surreal auditions. Also, they had like a week to like learn the lines. And they both came in and like put on reading glasses and were just reading it like they were reading it for the first time. And I was like, did you guys look at this at all? Because they had like And then they said they drove like 8 hours to get there. And I was like, why didn't you just like read it in the car? Just run the lines in the car. It was just so funny to me. Like, I just wondered if you could speak to, is that just kind of the way the wrestlers do it? Like they're just not rehearsing? Like that's it? Like,
Everybody's just so used to wing it. You just show up and, all right, we'll do it on the fly, brother.
Yeah. No, I was like, you guys have had this script for a week. You just said it took 8 hours to drive here. Like, you didn't just read it in the car? Just out of boredom?
Maybe they'll prepare better for the next time, the sequel.
Super nice
on your
guy.
Instagram, you're wearing wrestling shirts like in every picture you post. Is that just behind the scenes, or are you wearing wrestling shirts in the movie?
Both. I mean, I wear and buy way too many wrestling shirts. My buddy Ted, who's wrestling for sale on Instagram, hooks me up with a lot of good stuff, and just eBay. But yeah, my character wears a lot of vintage.
And AEWshop.com.
You'll see. I actually do. Well, I got all mine at Hot Topic at Universal Studios Hollywood. My brother one day brought me in. I think he basically bought one of all of them from the Hot Topic there one day before all the quarantine shut down. But
That's awesome.
yeah, you guys get some fun merch. I got to get one of the Jericho bandanas. That's on my list of stuff to get.
I could definitely see you wearing one of those.
Yeah.
Well, Clark, it's good to see you. I'm really happy for you because I know that you've always wanted to direct, and like your acting career has been incredible. You've been in everything, and it's awesome. So a lot of people say, hey, I've had a cool acting career, and I'm going to leave it at that. You've always wanted to direct, and you kept pushing for all these years to make it happen. You made it happen. I'm really excited to see this movie as we're shooting this tomorrow, but as you're watching this, it's already out. So make sure you check out Arkansas. Clark Duke, thank you for joining us. Congratulations, and best of luck with everything.
Thanks.
We'll see you at an AEW event soon.
Yes, sir. Talk to you soon.
Take care, bud. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the show again. I appreciate it. Hopefully you'll continue to watch and enjoy the show and leave your feedback. Let me know anybody that you want to see coming up, questions, anything that you have to say. And thank you so much to Sonny Kiss. Thank you so much to Bryce Remsburg. And thank you to Clark Duke. Again, good luck with your film, Arkansas. Please continue to watch everything AEW Dark, AEW Dynamite, the post-show, the pre-show, everything that's out there, the Unrestricted podcast, the Q&A with Taz, everything. And it's AEWshop.com. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything. If I am, just tweet me and let me know that I forgot something. Thank you for watching. Take care. Please stay safe and stay healthy.